Catholic controversy. Well, that's an interesting name. What are your thoughts on non-YouTube video platforms, if you have any? And there's a small list. Okay, so Dailymotion. Yep, I've heard of Dailymotion. I've been to there quite a number of times for watching certain things and whatnot when I'm too lazy to buy the DVDs. Blimp. Ah, yes, the old Blimp TV website where Nostalgia Critic and Channel also used to post their videos, and nowadays they've gone the way of the dodo. Well, Blimp site, anyway. I never had an account there, but I've heard the whole, copyright controversy and yada yada that YouTube's known for. That was a little more well managed over at Blimp, at least from what I've heard. Vimeo. I do have a Vimeo account. That was just for posting personal college projects for certain college assignments, but other than that, not much to say there. Vio, don't think I've heard of that. Most of them, Metacafe, River, BitChute, never heard of those. VidMe, I think I've heard of VidMe. That was, I think that was another video posting website, but yeah, I don't really have much to say about that, so that's about it. Next question. What is the earliest internet video you remember seeing? Jeez. I guess one old animated video that I remember seeing on the old days of the internet was the Demented cartoon movie. That was something posted on albinoblacksheep.com. And it was basically just a bunch of stick figures, and they were just doing a bunch of random nonsense. Like, they would say, blah, their heads would explode, or this bomb would come in saying, ziggy buggy doog, and giant explosion. So, yeah, if this film was, like, made now, it would pretty much be like a parody of Michael Bay, because of how many explosions there are. Haha. Man, what else is there? Would you consider doing a collab sometime? Well, that depends on what it is you had in mind. Aggie Kamek, what happened to your beta collection videos? I took them all down. And there was like two reasons. One was the whole, music copyright thing, because, damn copyright. And the other reason was I just didn't really like how they looked. If any of you haven't seen them, you really weren't missing much, because it was just a boring slideshow full of like pictures and random text popping up, and that was it. Of course, music playing in the background. I didn't do any of the voicing. That was back when I was kind of experimenting with trying to make videos while I was still recovering from jaw surgery. And then I was, I think I posted this in an update video somewhere, that I was gonna try and reboot the series and have like these two scrapped characters from certain games, like Redneck Kong from Diddy Kong Pilot was one of them. And they would kind of do this whole hosting show thing, like, oh yeah, here's all the stuff that was forgotten or changed and yada yada. But then I kind of got a little bit too big of a project, and over the years I just really lost interest with it, compared to how more better and successful other people have done, like Did You Know Gaming or N64. It's like, yeah, it's really not much that I could bring anything new to it, so I just moved on from there and just stuck to Forgotten Media and other stuff. So, yeah, sorry. Thane, how do you research for Forgotten Media? Well, there's several different ways. Mostly it's just looking up ideas on the internet, like if it's a certain show, then it's like, oh yeah, I gotta look up, find a good amount of episodes, and especially with Forgotten Media, with how it's always been mixed, an episode here about comics or an episode here about video games, the research can be very interesting and very tricky at times, especially with when I do TV shows. It can be real annoying when you're trying to do one on a TV show that's never gotten a home video release, no DVD or Blu-ray or iTunes, none of that stuff, and you have to pretty much paw around through the internet to try and find someone who's been able to upload the episodes. And movies that can kind of be the same way as well. They haven't gotten a home release yet, or even if they're like really hard to find, like Here Come the Monsters, that only got a VHS release in America, and that's gone out of print, and it's extremely rare, and I find that really annoying that in Europe they have a DVD release that is like not that expensive. And comics is kind of the same. Sometimes I get lucky and try and find the physical comics, or other times I have to try hunting around for a website that has like comic scans, especially if they're like the more hard to find ones, And what else is there? Video games. That one, I remember at first I kind of like, oh yeah, I talked about the stuff. Oh, did you play the game? Nope. But nowadays I try to actually play the games first and then do the episode on it. Unless it's like a canceled game. I could easily do that because, they were canceled. No one's played them. Or, not that many people play them. But for actual video games they can actually go out and buy, yeah. I have to actually play the games first, then talk about it, which is, pretty much explains why Forgotten Media has been really lacking on the video game department recently. But yeah, I think that was about it for how I usually do research on Forgotten Media. That was a long one. Oh, yeah. And the next question, what Forgotten Media do you think deserves far more recognition? Oh, well, there's plenty of them that deserve more love and attention. Like, one of the recent ones I did was the Haunted Mansion video game on PS2 and Xbox, and that's actually a pretty fun game, despite the fact that this was made to, like, as some weird tie-in for the Eddie Murphy film, even though those two have, like, nothing in common. But yeah, that deserves some more recognition. I know there's a lot more. Oh yeah, Sheep in the Big City, that's always been a big one, you know. Oh yeah, give this series more love and attention and, you know, actually give it a DVD release, you know. A full-on DVD release. Like, release all the episodes in a box set and not have that Powerpuff Girls DVD only have one episode. Yeah, there's plenty more that deserve more recognition and being recognized, but that's all I can really think of for now. Dangerous Tour Muchel. I'm sure I botched the name wrong, but anyway. How do you like Michael Jackson? If so, what's your favorite song of his? Yeah, I've listened to Michael Jackson, and I enjoy some of his songs and whatnot. And I don't know, what's my favorite? I don't know, it's probably kind of going more uncanny, you know, like, oh yeah, the most popular one, yada yada, like Thriller's one, Who's Bad? Oh yeah, I do like Beat It. It has a nice beat to it, you know. Yeah, that's all I can think of. The Scully343. Do you ever foresee a time on when, after you've long since retired, that there will be some mythical future YouTube person who does a Forgotten Media episode on Forgotten Media? Okay, so basically this guy's asking me if I foresee some guy in like 30 years or so that does like an episode covering about my web series of Forgotten Media. Yeah. I don't know. Probably not, because, you know, how cheap and low budget this series is. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna give a damn about it, but who knows? Maybe they'll prove me wrong one day. And next question, will Duncan H. Basher ever attempt to get his revenge as a spooky ghost this year as a Forgotten Media Halloween special? I don't know. Although that is kind of an interesting idea. But yeah, some way of bringing back Duncan H. Basher, yeah. The last time I brought him back was in that quick cameo appearance in the first episode of Give Me Chaos Theories. But yeah, ever since I retired from doing rants and commentaries, I really had like no use in continuing on with the character. He was just the generic troll character, you know, like, hello, you idiots out there, you all suck, and, you know, it's pretty generic, you know, there's not much I can really do from there. But, I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll post a Twitter poll or something asking you guys if you really want me to bring back that character or not. Because I know a friend of mine who keeps constantly pestering me to bring him back. But yeah, I just want to see if anybody else would be interested in the idea about me bringing back Duncan. Slim Cognito, why does your outfit make you look like Scout from TF2 if he was a cowboy? I don't know. I don't really recall Scout wearing a miner hat, and I don't really see mining to go more like Western theme, but I don't know. It's not my fault that I have a fast metabolism and I come off as freaking skinny and this and that. In fact, the whole mining outfit, that was never the intention about being like the Scout from Team Fortress 2 and a weird dud and whatnot. It was heavily based off of, you know, old coal miners that go into mine shafts digging around with pickaxes and all this other fun stuff. I don't know if it was fun. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but anyway, that was the idea, you know, to go with the tagline, oh yeah, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of. And some people got the idea. It's like, yeah, and it feels like a good majority of people. I just left alienated with the costume design. It's like, what? I'm like, what? You didn't get the whole bit, you know, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of? You know, miner digs up stuff? I don't know. Miners just aren't popular these days, I guess. Nathan Cook, what do you think of fan-made videos of TV shows and movies posted on YouTube? Yeah, fan-made videos and TV shows. Yeah, some of them have varied from time to time. Some are good, some are bad. Like, I found one of the interesting ones was, like, there's this channel that makes, like, fan-made movies based off of video games. And that's the, one I mostly remember was the Sonic the Hedgehog fan film. It's like, yeah, it's that film where James Rolfe and Doug Walker make cameo appearances, and they surprisingly got Jaleel White to come back and reprise Sonic after all these years. And so, that was kind of cool. But, yeah, other than that, it kind of varies from, you know, whether it be parodies or actual fan-made continuations. I haven't seen that many of stuff. It's usually just parodies, which I find amusing. You know, unless it's like Sonic, that can be hit and miss for me, but that's a whole another topic for another story. Raymond Wilson, out of these fan bases, Sonic, MLP, Undertale, Rick and Morty, and FNAF, what is the worst and best in your opinion? Oh, I don't know, because like, yeah, I've been like to most of them. I know most of them, like Sonic, MLP, Undertale, FNAF. Don't know nothing about Rick and Morty. But, I don't know, what's the worst and the best? Well, obviously the Sonic one is the worst, because, you know, so many of the, people in that fan base that are, like, real hell-bent and being, well, I guess more purist would be the right term, you know? There's a classic Sonic purist and the modern Sonic purist, you know? They want everything to be pure and have it their own way, and Sega did try to do that with, you know, trying to split up with, Sonic Boom, and then they tried it with Sonic Forces, and those epically failed miserably, especially with that freaking retcon. Ugh. But anyway, yeah, that would be that, and yeah, obviously the Sonic one is the worst out of the bunch. Especially, you'll pretty much know it's the worst because if you go onto my DeviantArt account, I do quite a lot of dark humor when it comes to making fun of its fan base and fans. And best of them, if, I don't know, they each have their own differences. I guess the MLP one is the closest I could think of. Yeah, I know they have its dark moments and bad times here and there, but you know, every fan base has that kind of stuff, so that's the best I could come up with, because it's like, you know, all of them have its goods, all of them have its bads, but which is the best? I don't know. Deanator, if you have any, who were your inspirations to start a YouTube channel? Well, there's quite a few. There was Cute Mario Brothers from Mario and Mario 8989. That started my inspiration for Action Mario. Others was Angry Video Game Nerd. Mostly, well, not specifically that. It was mostly like James Ralph's other videos. You know, all the casual reviews and Monster Mash. Yeah, that was another inspiration for Forgotten Media there. And yeah, I think that was just about it. Just those two that got me into YouTube. Rainbow Optimus, what is your dream job / career? Well, doing some television work, hopefully. That's what I went to college for. And if that doesn't work, maybe I'll go into theater acting. Or maybe voice work. I always had an interest in going into voice work. Next question, what's your favorite food and drink? Well, that would be, favorite drink is cherry Pepsi. It's still my favorite soda. And favorite food, so many different choices. I guess apples, bananas, mac and cheese cups, and a shit ton of other stuff that I can't think of right now. And next question, what would happen to be your best day ever? Well, that would probably be the day when I got Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on PS4. And I got that a day early before its official release because GameStop gave me a phone call and saying, oh yeah, we have this early release planned, so come on over, you know, show us your receipt and then come back later to get your copy. And that was interesting. So I went down there, got the receipt, yada yada. And then when it came to, they were having the early release on closing time, like 9 o'clock when they usually close, over here anyway. And they were giving out the games, and of course, since I pre-ordered the game, I also got the cool Aku Aku keychain, which is still neat. I still think that's better than the Crash Bandicoot micro brick thing. Anyway, I got it, and then when I got outside, it was like raining like crazy, but then I made it into my car, and I just held up the game and was like, yes, the crystal is mine! And yes, I did it in my Dr. Cortex impersonation, so that was pretty much the best day ever. Finally getting a new Crash game after all these years. Suki Condor, any memories of KB Toys? Ooh, not that many. I don't really, there wasn't really a spot where I live where it was, close by, you know, not a standalone or whatnot. There was at least 1 or 2 times I went to a mall that had the KB Toys, and yeah, sorry, not many memories about that. Robinator, who's better, SMG4 or SML? I kind of have to go with the SMG4, probably because just, SMG4 is mostly post-like videos where it's just, randomness happening, you know, oh, Mario's an idiot, and he gets into some wacky situations, yeah. And I guess that's just kind of like a fun way to watch it if I want to, you know, find some random entertainment and whatnot. Like, SML is okay, but it seems like over the years I've really just lost interest with some of his work. They came, I guess in some ways they kind of get a little formulaic and definitely focusing a little too much on Jeffy rather than focusing on the other characters like Black Yoshi or Shrek and whatnot. And the next question, what was your YouTube name before you chose MeltingMan234's? I really didn't have another YouTube name before I went on with the MeltingMan name. it was just, you know, when I was coming up with my own channel, I was thinking of many ideas. A lot of them didn't stick, and I pretty much forgot all about them. But yeah, it seemed like the only one that came into my head was MeltingMan. It's like, yeah, never seen anyone on YouTube had that name before. And then I threw in a 234, and it's like, oh, MeltingMan234, that has a nice ring to it. And yeah, that's the origins of my YouTube name. Silent Sam, what is your favorite Cute Mario Brothers episode? I've got quite a number of favorite episodes. I guess some of the like the favorite episode from like the real early years, I think that would be Summer Fun. It's basically just Mario and Luigi just messing around, having fun, and in fact, that's kind of become a tradition to me where I always try and watch it every summer, you know, just for old nostalgia's sake and whatnot. But the other Summer Fun episodes are pretty funny too. And what else is there? Oh yeah, there's Return of the Eye, which is basically Gonzo enlisting the you guy to try and kill the Cute Mario Brothers. And the reason why I find that is just mostly the guy is just freaking hilarious with just how over the top he is with that weird Gollum voice and doing his own. I swear, with like the stuff that he's doing, like the scene where he's trying to write his name down with a marker, I feel like that was all just completely ad-lib. They didn't really have anything planned for that, and that just makes it even more funnier. More recent episodes, I don't know. It's been quite a while. I guess there's the whole there's that episode where they had mess around with Mickey's machine where they can travel into different universes. So there's like, they end up in a universe where it's like, oh, it's a plush Mario and a Luigi action figure. And then they go in a universe where it's a live action Mario and Luigi. And then there's one where it's all reversed. Oh yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Cubics, are you gonna cover beta stuff for video games again? Also, could you do like current cartoon reviews? Beta stuff in video games? Nah, I've retired from that long ago, but current cartoon reviews, I don't know, I've had a few ideas doing that. Like recently I've been watching Legend of the Three Caballeros, which features Donald, Jose, and Panchito, and this whole adventure thing where it's like, yeah, it's the Three Caballeros and going up against Greek mythology stuff, and I do love me some Greek mythology, so I don't know, maybe when that series ends, then I'll probably do a review on Legend of the Three Caballeros. I've mentioned before how I've been trying to do reviews of the MLP episodes, and that'll be divided into seasons and the movies, but yeah, that's a whole different project for something else. But yeah, so now not much on current cartoon reviews, but yeah, mostly because there's just not much that I can think of. It's like, well, there's MLP and Legend of the Three Caballeros, and that's it. I don't really watch TV, you know, current TV these days. Matthew Bachmel, have you ever seen a media that has creep you out as an adult? No, not really. I haven't really seen much stuff that's creeped me out. Colorado 1. Will YouTube be great again after the 2017 controversy, or is it gonna be like 2017 all over again due to Logan Paul's antics? I don't know. I don't know much about Logan Paul and his antics, but with the whole, well, YouTube's always full of controversy, and I really don't see it improving, especially with the whole demonetization stuff. You know, it's like, first we had to deal with the whole where's the fair use controversy. Nowadays it's pretty much the whole ad revenue and demonetization stuff that people with YouTube partnerships have to put up with, and I feel sorry for. And it's like, well, I think, you know, because back then I was pretty stubborn with not joining a YouTube partnership, but now with the whole demonetization stuff being present to this day, I'm like, yeah, I think I made the wise choice of not joining a YouTube partnership, yeah. So I really don't feel like selling my soul to Google and having to go through a daily routine and fighting against their broken demonetization crap. Oi. And the next question, have you heard of Smash Brothers LOL? Yes, I am well aware of Smash Brothers LOL, the crazy fan-made series made by the same guy who does the Frollo show. And now that I think about it, he hasn't done that series in bloody ages, of course, but then again, he's probably trying to focus all of his attention on and trying to finish the Frollo show. And now he's trying to work on the Wilford Brimley story, and as well as the last story to the whole Frollo finally does it episode. And what else? Oh yes, back to LOL. Yeah, that was a pretty funny idea. It's like, yeah, let's take some of these YouTube poop characters like I Am Mean and the King and have them as fighting characters and show off their different moves. And then we had like other characters showing off, like Ib, that was one example. And Yeah, a lot of other characters I can't think of right now, but yeah. Interesting variety, as well as my introduction to some of those characters. Oh yeah, Maraksuki, I think that was the girl's name. W Productions, what was your favorite episode to work on? Favorite Forgotten Media episode? I think one of them was the Forgotten Media episode on Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. That was the one me and Luke Fox did, and we had a lot of fun doing that episode, writing down lines and coming up with gags here and there. And I think in the final video, I ended up using most of Luke's ideas for gags and whatnot. Of course, some of them I had to tweak, like the one where Luke's saying a bunch of, tally ho, eh, what? And the original line he wrote down was just me saying, man, I can never understand those Brits. But instead, I decided to tweak the line and, have a little fun with it. And so here I come out doing these random British slangs, completely botching their meanings and whatnot. And Luke's like, oh, you have no idea what you're doing. And then I just go, jawohl, which is German for yes. So yeah, we went from British to German in that one. Of course, I had some of my own jokes thrown in there, like when I found out the monkey's name was Igor, how they pronounced it that way. I'm like, yep, we gotta throw in a Young Frankenstein reference. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially the reaction shots we got to the whole horrifying scene of Pinocchio turning into a puppet again. And yeah, we basically just had we had a lot more. That's kind of the fun thing with doing these Forgotten Media co-op episodes. There's a lot more freedom and opportunities and ideas to come out instead of just me being the one-man band that I usually am on Forgotten Media. And next question. In past episodes, what was the song you used in your intro? Yeah, the song that most people don't know that the music that I was using for like the whole intro thing, that was actually supposed to be a channel intro because it showed off all the things I did, like Action Mine, the Legion Pledge Beta Collection, and Ranks and Commentary. Of course, nowadays some of them are a bit outdated. But since I did Forgotten Media a lot, most people mistake it as the intro to Forgotten Media when there really is no proper intro to Forgotten Media. But yeah, the song that I used was, I think it was from Henwards. It was, I think that's the name of the song, or the band. Well, it was an a cappella version, and I know in some of the videos I have a song listed down there, like, so maybe in the 50th episode there's a song listed there, so you can look that up, but yeah, it's something with Henwards. It's a cappella version, or no, it's acoustic version, or something, I don't know. It's been too long since I've used that song. Fiery1234, how do you make all your videos? By using the power of iMovie. Yeah, it's sad that I'm still using iMovie, because I've been trying to move on to do more bigger and better programming, like I think I've been thinking about moving over to Adobe Premiere one day, gives me a lot more options, more tools to play around with, and effects, get a lot more into the Adobe stuff, like use After Effects for special effects and such. But yeah, still using iMovie. It's basically the Mac version of Windows Movie Maker, very, very basic stuff. Shamex2, Luna half ghost is still my mascot. What do you think of Luna? I don't know, I haven't really seen her. And next one, my last question to you is, you still like Lost stuff? Yes, I still enjoy talking about Lost media or forgotten stuff. That's pretty much the joys about Forgotten Media. It's like, yeah, talk about stuff that might deserve to be forgotten, or talk about stuff that, oh, you know what, this is underrated. Let's give it some more attention, yada yada. 6T76T. Have you ever considered joining Vidly? And for the description, it's basically a old school version of YouTube. Well, I don't know, I have kind of thought of the idea, because I actually have taken a quick look at the website, and the webpage literally is designed just like what YouTube used to look like back in the old days, having 5-star ratings, YouTube channels with more creative backgrounds, and the only corporate asshole we had to deal with was Viacom. But yeah, I do miss the old days of YouTube, and so yeah, if YouTube, really starts to chew on my ass on stuff like, oh, we're attacking you, oh, you do reviews, yeah, well, too bad, we're taking them down. So if that really gets out of hand for me, then yeah, I might consider moving over to Vidly. Next question, what inspired you to make those hilarious Gmod comics on DeviantArt? What inspired me to get into Gmod comics and whatnot? Well, interesting origin about that was that when I was doing a community college, one of the classes that I took was a photography class, and we basically went around with our cameras, or borrowed some cameras. We took snapshots here and there, learned the basics of in-depth and other elements, and then we usually used Photoshop to try and edit photos, you know, make them different color, make them more fancy looking. So I had like Adobe stuff and whatnot, and that's kind of what got me into it when I was in Gmod messing around. It's like, hey, maybe I can do a comic with these still photos. And the first one I did was the whole All-Stars Racing Transformed board meeting, where it shows Sonic and his friends, the Sonic characters representing Sega, and they're trying to come up with, oh yeah, what kind of PC exclusive character can we think of next? And they suggest Yogscast and the Football Manager, and then Vector Man's just sitting there like, yeah, how about me in the game? And then it gets chucked out the window. Of course, if you've seen that comic, you'll probably know it's a parody of a certain meme. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically that same kind of concept that a lot of people have done before. But yeah, that was the basic starting point for me doing Gmod comics. And then after that, I did more parody stuff. Mostly a lot of parody stuff, mostly making fun of Sonic, whether it be in a more lighthearted way or in a more dark humor way, especially when it comes to the fan base. And then quite a lot of TF2 stuff. Sometimes I try to do my own work, but not too much. I would like to try it again one day, but yeah, that's basically the origins of what got me into doing Gmod comics. And next question, what programs or tools are you missing for your future videos? Or like Forgotten Meeting otherwise. Let's see, well, like I said before, I want to move over to more of the Adobe products instead of iMovie. And just one tool or item that I would like to have is like a capture card, or you know, something that can record gameplay, and not having me going around asking people, oh, can I use this? You know, asking people notes on YouTube, which now that I've heard it's actually going to be taken down, it's like, great! Now that's going to become impossible for me. What else is there? Oh yeah, I guess a better background would be one thing, so I've been changing backgrounds here and there. Like first it was my parents' basement, yes, that's true. And then recently I've been using my own room because the lighting in there is a hell of a lot better than what it was downstairs. But I don't know, if I get my own apartment or whatnot, or house, I would like to create my own background. Like have it be like a cave or a mine shaft, and instead of jewels sticking out, there's like products in there, like a video game here or a comic there to go with the Forgotten Media thing. So I'm definitely not going for the whole shelf full of video games background, because that kind of style has become way too much of a cliche on YouTube, especially when it comes to video game reviewers. Alright, let me tell you. Uncle Paul, what's your reaction when I ship Hat Kid and Vanellope? It's weird. That's all I can say. Next. Neon Apocalypse. Ever heard of Lost Media Wiki, and what are you most interested in? Yes, I have heard of Lost Media Wiki. In fact, I heard about it after I'd already, started working on episodes of Forgotten Media, so although I'm pretty sure Lost Media came first, and not mine. But anyway, I browsed through the Wikipedia, and it's an interesting site. A lot of people doing like research covering lost material, or partially lost, or sometimes media that was lost and then it was recently found. So sometimes I like to browse through there, maybe try and get some ideas for Forgotten Media. And in fact, I was going through that recently, writing down like a big list for like potential episodes for the series, because I've been trying to get my motivation to get back into working on that again. Tech Studios, a weird name. Will you ever continue Action Mario and Luigi plush? Ooh, yeah, that's a question I always ask myself constantly. Yeah, whether it's worth it in continuing doing Action Mario and Luigi plush. I remember I had scripted one episode, which is surprisingly the only episode that I've actually scripted, and it was something to do with Luigi suffering from amnesia, and the bad guys trick him, like, oh, you're one of us, Mario's the bad guy, we the good guys, something like that. And I written that all down, and then I lost it for a while, and recently I found it, so I don't know if I'm gonna bother picking up with that idea. And I guess another one I thought about is like, oh, maybe do something like with Cute Mario Brothers Summer Fun, just to have Mario and Luigi having fun in summer and doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know. As of now, Action Mario and Luigi plush is pretty much just stuck in purgatory, because I have no idea what to do with it. And next question, do you love tacos? Not really, not much of a taco person. Sorry. Mr. Doomman 1000, have you heard of Phil Collins? Yeah, I've heard of the guy, I just can't remember what he was, and I'm too lazy right now to look him up. Sorry. Mr. X50, have you heard of Nostalgia Scapocon? What? No, I've heard of Nostalgia Critic, but not Nostalgia that guy. And next question. Do you think forgotten media will be forgotten? Oh, yeah. If I had a dime every time I'd hear someone say, oh, do forgot media, forgot media. Hoo-hoo. I don't know. I think I pointed this out in the previous questions. Like, yeah, it might be forgotten unless there was some kind of mystical person in 30 years later just covering my series. Red on 548. Are you a nostalgic type of person? In some ways, yeah. Like, especially with the return of Crash Bandicoot Spyro the Dragon. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I remember back in my days with 3D platformers were kings and yada yada. Nowadays, they're just dead. You know, maybe except Mario, but you know, we don't see 3D platformers anymore. It just kind of depends on what I am. I will say, when it comes to nostalgic, it's definitely more in the 90s, because I was born in 93, so obviously I'm more of a 90s person. Haha. Yeah, next question. What are your proudest works? I think I mentioned before that Emperor of the Night of Forgotten Media is one of my proudest works. Other videos that I worked on is a Dave the Barbarian episode. That was one. It's like, yeah, I remember this show. It's like, it's so stupid, but it's funny at the same time. And I was pretty glad how that came out. And what else? Oh yes, Christmas Carol of the 1900s. That's another one of my favorites. I just kind of love talking about silent films, you know, all these interesting film techniques, and especially with this one where we covered, I covered the very first or several first adaptations of A Christmas Carol. There was like 2 of them. I mentioned there was 3, but I could never find the 1908 version because most sources mistook it for the 1910 version. And what else? Man, so far, Give Me Chaos Theory. Yeah, I'm pretty proud with how that series is turning out, even though it's just an obvious knockoff of Sonic Dissected. Haha. What else is there? Yeah, I think I'm fine with the retrospectives. Yeah, I think one retrospective I think I'm probably glad of is the Crash Bandicoot one, Spyro one, that was great. And Banjo one, I found that was a nice one that I did. But yeah, other than that, that's all I can really think of any proud works of mine. Next question. Seeing your Gmod stuff on DeviantArt, do you truly want to be an animator and or artist? If so, which for website? Yeah, I'm sorry, I really don't have the patience to try and do fluent Gmod animation. I tried doing that once with the whole Sniper Becomes a Brony video, and yeah, you can clearly tell I'm not really an animator. So yeah, I'm more of a writer than an animator. Callum Sparrow, if you were transported to any fictional universe, either temporary or permanently, what would you most want to go? Jesus, like way too many. I guess one that I could think of is Crash Bandicoot's Homeworld, you know, going to Insanity Island, hanging him out, what? Hanging out with him, that's what I meant. And doing all sorts of fun stuff, yeah. Crash Bandicoot universe, because, you know, oh, very nostalgic, first video game I ever played, yada yada, so, yeah, that would be a fun place to go to for a while. Next question. Favorite creatures, both realistic and mythical? Well, I like cats. Yeah, I'm more of a cat person. And, mythical. Well, I guess that would probably be, like, Alicorn, or maybe a Hydra, or something in the Greek mythology stuff. Yeah, because I do love me some Greek mythology. Dark the Wolf, favorite subject in college? Yes, I've had quite a lot of them. Most of them being TDMP related, because that was my major going into television and media. I guess one that I found interesting was the film class that I took during my final year. And that was a class where we basically watched a lot of films and write down a lot of notes and occasionally had to take a quiz, but that was basically what we did. We watched films, observed them, and talked about them. So we had to divide it into like 3 categories. So the first month was watching a lot of Hitchcock films, so like The Birds, Robe, Psycho, North by Northwest, all those kind of films. And then next was I think it was a German guy, I can't remember. There was a lot of a couple of foreign films there, and then we watched none by another artist whose name I can't remember. But yeah, that was the interesting part, watching a lot of films I've never seen before, and observing them and finding them interesting. Julio the Gallad, what do you think about Godzilla? Well, I think Godzilla is interesting, you know, giant monster from Japan and destroying everything. Roar! And of course I learned most of its history thanks to Cinemassacre's Monster Madness Godzilla-thon. But as for my personal experience, no, surprisingly haven't seen that many of Godzilla films. Although I have seen the original Japanese version of the first one, so I guess that counts for something. But yeah, I would like to one day try and do maybe do watching some of the Godzilla films, whether it be the new ones or the old ones. And when it comes to forgotten media, there's quite a small handful of topics that I could talk about, like the television series based off of the 2000 film. Yeah, remember when that was a thing? But yeah, that's all I have to say for King of the Beasties, or whatever the title he goes by. Whew, and that concludes the About Me category. Bloody hell, that was freaking long. It's only gonna get worse once I get into the entertainment category, doing films and television and whatnot. And but you know what? I'm gonna save that one for last. So the next couple of ones will be like the MOP, Sonic, and Thomas the Tank Engine categories. That'll be interesting. And you know, I answered all these questions. If I skipped any of you, I'm sorry. I probably skipped them because I either forgot or it was just the same question being repeated. So yeah, if you have any more questions about me, write them down in the comments and and all that. But yeah, that's about it, and hopefully it won't take me this bloody long to work on the next Q&A segments.